It's time for us to bring on the heavy hitter. He is radio analyst Antonio Harvey, joining us from Sacramento. Tone, you guys stay in the Bay Area last night, or did you guys go to Sacramento?
We bussed from San Francisco over to Sacramento last night.
Wow.
We stopped at In-N-Out and got a burger about halfway between the two, so it was well worth the bus ride.
Wow.
No. I gotta, Tone. I gotta stay with that visual for a minute. The NBA bus, the bus carrying the Portland Trailblazers. You with a pocket full of per diem went and got a double-double.
Well, now the players weren't on our bus. This is just
okay.
the media folks. That was just us.
Okay.
No. The players, they had a different bus. There were 3 buses, from what I understand.
Okay.
And they were spaced out however many minutes. In our bus, we stopped, grabbed a little food on the way over, little in and out.
Okay. It's still cool. You still have per diem.
It
was still per diem getting a double-double. Let's stay with the thought.
I'm still trying. Hey man, I'm trying to figure out what you're trying to figure out. So you wouldn't stop for a double-double?
I'm jealous. I am jealous.
Figure out what's wrong with you.
No. I'm a little on the envious side because I know you got to Sacramento with some change still.
If that's the case, then understand. I'm a Subway kind of guy.
Okay, all right.
My per diem is almost like another paycheck.
Okay, all right. That's where I was that was the uppercut I was trying to hit you with.
And you guys know what I did today? I went to the new Chick-fil-A out there in Tanasbourne. I hit that up today, and it was about a 20-minute wait through the drive-thru.
Yeah, man, the new Chick-fil-A. I didn't know there was a new Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. It's been all over all the newscasts. So I said, I got to go give it a try. And I was out in the area, so I hit it up, and it was great. They've got quite a system down because there were 30 people in the drive-thru.
Hey, this is really good dinner time conversation.
It really is. That's my first time ever having Chick-fil-A, though. So there you go.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. It was a treat. I would have rather had In-N-Out Burger, but that's okay. That's a story for another day. Tone, after the Warriors beat Portland last night, you just had to tip your hat, right? I mean, the Dubs were just one of those teams that they can just absolutely catch fire. They did that, particularly over those final 3 quarters, and Portland just couldn't withstand that.
No. You know what? It wasn't even the final 3 quarters. It was really – and we talked about it a little bit on the radio broadcast last night. It was the last 2 minutes of the first 3 quarters. They were absolutely abysmal for the Blazers. They were minus 14 over a 6-minute span in the last 2 minutes of those 3 quarters. If you can't finish strong, and in my book, if you end a quarter weak, you generally begin the next quarter weak. And I didn't even look at the numbers for the start, the second, the third, and the fourth quarters, because usually momentum carries over, and it felt like the end of quarter fed into the beginning of the next quarter, and that's where the Blazers hurt themselves.
Well, the thought of getting that 5th seed, thanks to Memphis losing yesterday, it's still a realistic shot for Portland and probably the most likely scenario for the Trailblazers. But obviously, they've got to finish strong over these final 4, right?
Well, yeah, and they're in a good position. You look at it from the standpoint purely of the opponents they're playing. I mean, obviously, you got to step up and you got to take care of the games that are presented to you. But if you look at the games they play, Sacramento tomorrow night, you got to think that's at least a winnable game. You may not be a heavy favorite, but it is a winnable game. Then you talk about the other 2 games, or you talk about the 3 games at home.
Right.
Oklahoma City, who knows what they're going to do? Will they play everybody? Will they start resting guys?
Right.
And then you've got Denver and Minnesota down the stretch, 2, again, on paper games that are winnable. The Blazers are in the best position to handle their own business. Meanwhile, Memphis has to play the Golden State Warriors twice, and they've got to face the Clippers in that span. So the Blazers are in a good position.
Tom, when you look at how the Blazers are playing right now, I mean, it's been a really special season when you look at the depth and guys stepping up now. The latest, I think, is Maurice Harkless bringing a pretty solid contribution every night. And Noah Vonleh's kind of the odd man out at the moment. But what do you look for this team to try to dial in these last games of the regular season? Is it transition defense? Is it points in the paint? Is it defending the rim?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think for me, they've got to continue with the 3-point shot, and they've got to based on what they do and who they see as their opponent in the first round, they've got to make a decision on, do you focus your energy on points in the paint because you're going to face the Clippers? Do you focus your energy on the three-point shot and transition because you're going to face the Oklahoma City Thunder? Because those are very different teams. I think it's all on the defensive side of the ball, though. You've got to make sure that you are good in transition, you understand your roles. There were a couple of times last night where Blazer guards got caught ball watching and gave up three-point shots. Mm-hmm. You got to be dialed in, focused in, intent every possession down the stretch of this season if you're going to be ready for the playoffs.
Tone, I want to ask you a basketball question and try to get you to kind of unpack it for our viewers. This team has been focused most of the season, from training camp most of the season, and did well in transition defense. One of the league's top, I think, 5 teams in that category for probably the first 60, 65 games of the season. That transition defense has been challenged as of late. I mean, Golden State had, I think, 28 fast break points, and there's been some big numbers scored in transition against the Blazers. The question I want to ask you is, how important is it to play defense with your offense this time of year so that you can get back and get set?
Oh, man, nobody really talks about that, Mike, but when you're taking the ball out of the net, that's a solid 2 seconds slower to get the ball across half court. But when it's a missed shot, when that ball is a long rebound, and we've heard it, long shot, long rebound, and we're talking about a team that shoots upwards of 33s a game, so there's 30 chances for long rebounds. Now you get the ball, and it's a snap pass, and the ball is already at half court. So now the Blazers' defense is playing from its heels. You got guys running back. I'm trying to locate, and by the time I locate my guy, now I got to catch the ball, but it's 3 passes in, and it's swinging from side to side. Now I got to relocate the ball, but, oh, my man just moved. I got to locate him again. Defense becomes exponentially more difficult when you don't make shots. 50% shooting teams are usually 40% defensive teams because the opposition has to take the ball out of bounds. They got to walk it up the floor. I'm set. I'm looking at you. I got a hand on my man's chest. I got my eyes on you. I got my other hand in the paint. I am patrolling everything. I'm making sure you don't feel comfortable. The Blazers absolutely have to make shots if they're going to be the defensive team they were earlier on.
And Tony, that's what I was hoping that you would say and point out for our viewers, because as Adam and I are going back and forth about who's the preferred opponent should the Trailblazers stay the course and you know, in the 6th seed or the 5th seed, whether it's the Clippers or whether it's OKC, not to get ahead of ourselves. But both of those teams, if you let them get a head start in transition, Russell Westbrook or Chris Paul, it's like running uphill.
You know what's crazy, Mike, is just like the game 2 nights ago or last night versus Golden State. And we saw it against Boston both times the Blazers played. Boston runs a fast break off a made shot. Yeah. And it's the same thing with Oklahoma City and the same thing with the Clippers. Chris Paul, when he gets the ball, he doesn't walk it up the floor because he realizes his team is not very good in a half-court offense. Mm-hmm. They're only good in transition. And it's kind of the same thing with Oklahoma City. You look at them, Russell Westbrook pushes the ball up the floor, made or miss. He's crossing half court with 22 seconds on the clock. He's got you on your heels even if you make a shot because he realizes outside of Kevin Durant, they don't have a true half-court scorer because he's not. I mean, Russell Westbrook, let's be honest, he's a heck of a player, but he is all court all day long. He does not want to deal with a half-court set defense.
It is the new NBA, after all. He is Antonio Harvey, Blazers radio analyst, joining us. So let's only talk about what is directly in front of Portland, and, of course, that is the Sacramento Kings. Portland can sweep them aside with a win tomorrow, Tone. George Karl said he wants to rest his players, his star players, that is, on away games, but tomorrow it's a home game, so expect Cousins, Rondo, and Gay to play. The question I have for you, at the end of this year, for next season, who's still going to be in Sacramento, George Karl or DeMarcus Cousins?
Well, that's an easy one. It'll be DeMarcus Cousins. Players run the league. But if I were Lottie Levi for DeMarcus Cousins and getting the most value I can for him, because he's already shown me he can get coaches fired. This is his 6th coach. He will be going on his 6th coach in his 6th season in the league. I mean, I can't build a franchise around a guy that nobody can get along with. It's not like he had one coach, Paul Westphal, they didn't get along. No, but it was Paul Westphal, then it was Keith Smart, then it was Mike Malone, now it's George Karl, and I believe there was one more in the middle there. So we're going to be working on number 6. It's not them. It's the common denominator.
Think they'd ever admit that letting Mike Malone go was the wrong decision?
No, whoever does that.
He's doing well. He's doing actually very well in Denver.
That's like Donald Trump admitting he shouldn't have said something. Man, they don't have that ability.
Ooh, okay.
Treat that like a UFO?
Yeah,
Is that what you're going to do, Holton?
Yeah. Let's just kind of let that be a drive-by.
So how's tomorrow going to shake out? Sacramento, traditionally a pretty tough venue to play in, but does George Karl play all of his guys? I mean, they've got nothing to lose.
No, they don't have anything to lose. What you have to count on, in my eyes, when you talk about the Sacramento Kings, is some sort of dysfunction. Yeah. You know, you got to count on one of those guys, probably DeMarcus Cousins, getting mad because George Karl didn't do something, didn't say something, and shutting it down. It's happened almost every game this season, and I don't see any reason why it wouldn't happen again. So if I'm the Blazers, you got to play hard, you got to put them on their heels, and then you got to know that at some point they're going to fall apart because that's just their MO.
Yeah, but Tony, but they are a talent. They are an NBA team, and they do have talent. I mean, you look at Rondo, you look at Cousins, but the guy I want to ask you about, for the first quarter of this season, I just thought, wow, what is up with this guy? And that's Willie Cauley-Stein. He has been a bear this last quarter of the season.
You know, I liked him. I liked him at Kentucky. I thought he was a little bit underrated coming out. He's just an athlete. I mean, he's a freak of an athlete at 6'10", 240, maybe on a day when he's got a couple bricks in his pocket, maybe sweating a little bit and his pants are wet, so he's a little heavier than normal. He's a solid 240. But what he is, he plays hard. And Mike, you know from being around players as long as you have, when you play hard, you're going to find a way to be successful in this league. He plays extremely hard. He gives it on every possession. And I think his offense is going to be a little bit better, going to get better over time. He reminds me of a young Tyson Chandler, really athletic and just moves up and down the court.
That's a good call.
Yeah, it is. Tone, we started this segment by talking about In-N-Out Burger, and then we went to Chick-fil-A. I just have one quick question for you. Ever bought anything from Costco that you really didn't need?
Wait. You asked me if I've ever bought anything from Costco that I really didn't need. How about every time I go to Costco, I buy something I really didn't need? They sell it to you in such big volumes. 90% of what you buy, you don't need.
Hey, I went to get a loaf of bread because I wanted a peanut butter sandwich and got a massage chair for $900.
And look, and the peanut butter and the bread that you bought was probably 3 times the size you needed. So you got more bread than you'll ever eat.
Yeah, we'll have to share these stories when you come back, because then there was the other time when I was just watching the blender, thinking, why would people pay $400 for a blender? Next thing I know, I was checking out.
Blender in hand.
Right.
With the vitamin. Hey, Mike, if it'll make you feel any better, I got a vitamin.
Okay, all right, man. I don't feel as bad, man.
Guilty as charged here, too. The trifecta with us. All right, Tone, have a good one. We'll see you back here on Saturday night when the Blazers come back home.
All right, guys, take it easy.
Or Wednesday. Wednesday.
Right.
Sorry about that. Yeah. We're getting ahead of ourselves. All right. Antonio Harvey, Blazers radio analyst, joining us from Sacramento, where the Blazers will play tomorrow.